What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Variant Live. Today, we got lots of stuff to talk about, lots of fun stuff to talk about. We're also going to be talking about My Hero Academia Season 3. We're supposed to watch the next two episodes in that. So, if you've done that, if you've watched that, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, we're going to start off with what the episode is actually titled Deadpool 2 Spoiler Review. So, with that said, if you have not seen Deadpool 2, this is going to be my spoiler review. Spoilers galore. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch my spoiler free review. That was put up on Friday, I believe. That's already up. It should be the video before this. But again, spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. I'm saying it here. It's in the title. Spoilers. So don't get mad at me if I say something that spoils it for you because I've warned you a bunch of times already. All right. With that said, as you guys know, I love the movie. If you watch my spoiler-free review, you know I love the movie. It was really, really solid movie. I liked it just as much as the first one. Like I said in my previous review, the only reason I didn't like it more than the first one is because I thought the pacing and story wasn't as good as the first one. Overall, I thought the first one was just a more well-made, put-together movie as a whole. Like it just flowed better. The story was better. The pacing. This one kind of felt like it was a little all over the place in a sense. Like it had obviously like a main thing, but it just wasn't as put together well as I personally thought as the first one. So that, but with that said, the action and just sheer comedy evened it out for me, which is why I liked it just as much. Because even though it wasn't as solid as the first one as far as structure, this movie was so funny, like from start to finish. Oh my god, it was just brilliant. So that took it back up for me. Like the very beginning, you see like the Logan or Wolverine, like his little like clock thing he has or whatever, his little windy, I forget what you call those things, the little, those little carousel things that turns, and it's like basically just showing the end of Logan where he's dead and stuff like that. He hits the little spike in his chest and he turns around. Brilliant. And then after that, like it goes into a montage with Celine Dion singing the song Ashes that she did for the movie, but it's like a GoldenEye James Bond esque montage, and it is freaking hilarious. I was dying the whole time, and then like much like the first one, the whole like the credits like to the producers and directors and writers and all that stuff kind of just has like comedy to what happened previous in the first like 2 minutes to kind of set the movie off, because it's basically like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself, Deadpool, but this is what happened, like I believe like a few weeks earlier or whatnot. Just absolutely amazing. Like this, the thing I love about Deadpool so much is just like I can't think of another movie, at least in recent years, that allows to break the fourth wall like this. Like it's absolutely hilarious. Like the fact that um it just breaks the fourth wall like that all the time, and it allows for like so much more comedy. It's brilliant because you can be like you can commentary, sorry, you can commentary on, like, I got like something in my contact eye. If in my contact, if you guys saw my eye wigging out, it's because like dust or something went in and where my contact is, and it made my eye freak out. So if it looked like I was dying, I wasn't really dying. It's just my eye was wigging out because dust went in my contact. Anyway, what I was saying, I love the fact that he could break the fourth wall because you can comment or do commentary on real life. So it's just really funny how like the constant like digs superhero movies, like the one we all know is like from the trailer. It's like, oh God, you're so dark, as he's talking to Cable. It's like, are you from the DC universe? Or the constant digs at like the Green Lantern movie. I love that this movie is self-aware that Ryan Reynolds is playing Deadpool, because they're just constantly like making digs. He's making digs at himself essentially about all the like bad movies he's been in, like Blade 3, even though I personally love that movie my younger years. I think that was a fun movie, but I guess overall it's not technically a good movie. Or obviously Green Lantern is the biggest one. Oh, did you guys see actually what, because there were so many digs for Green Lantern in this movie, Warner Brothers tweeted out, I think like Warner Brothers Entertainment themselves tweeted out to Ryan Reynolds in reply, basically being like, "We want our ring back," and it's like freaking the Green Lantern ring hovering, like in I forget what Green Lantern, but like Green Lantern's hand saying, "We want our ring back." Freaking hilarious. So, and I think Ryan Reynolds did a little rebuttal with it too, basically saying like, if you want it, you should put a ring on it or whatnot. But they had a back and forth because Ryan Reynolds is not gonna stay shut. But I just thought that was hilarious that it was so like he made it so apparent in the first movie with the reference to the CGI green suit, and then this movie there's like several digs of Green Lantern. The Warner Brothers finally like, okay, we gotta reply, we gotta do something. But speaking of, not to get ahead of myself, but probably the best part in this movie, or at least one of the, yeah, probably one of the best parts of the movie is the end credit scene, which is kind of not an end credit scene, but it is an end credit scene because what the heck are you gonna call it? But it's not at the end of the credits. I don't know. It's like literally after the movie, like 2 minutes after the movie. Um, where Deadpool has Negasonic Teenage Warhead fix Cable's time traveling device so he can in turn go back, one, save his lady friend, because earlier in the movie you guys are all sitting around, she died, she be dead, so he brings her back to life. But then he also goes to the Wolverine universe where Ryan Reynolds first appeared as Deadpool. Remember a long time ago in the Wolverine movie, the horrible version of Deadpool where he had like the spike things coming out of his hand and his mouth was like sewn shut or some crap. He appears in that movie. He just shows up as his current Deadpool and shoots the old Deadpool. It's just, and it's basically just like clean up the timelines. And then it cuts to Ryan Reynolds reading the Green Lantern script, and he's all like, "Yes, I've made it." And you see like the Green Lantern script, and Ryan and Deadpool just shows up behind him and shoots him right in the back of the head. So basically, he made it. This movie basically made it. So those movies never happened. He cleaned up the timelines. So in this universe now, it never happened, which was brilliant. And you could only get away with something like that in a Deadpool movie. So funny. Let's see. I'm not gonna run through the movie and talk detail everything. I'm gonna just talk about some of the spoiler stuff that I thought was the coolest thing. So let's see. The cameos in this thing, just the reference. So when when Professor not Professor X, when Colossus brings Deadpool back, he's like, I want you to join I want you to join the X-Men. He's trying to get him to join X-Men again, and he's back in the mansion. Deadpool's constantly making the comments like, why the heck is it only us here? This is such a big mansion. It's only us here. He keeps commenting on how it's so lonely there, and he's all while driving Professor X's chair, by the way, which is freaking brilliant. He's doing like 360s and stuff like that, and eventually you just see like he's looking this way at like Colossus or something, and then in the background you see all the X-Men from the current X-Men movies, like Beast, James McAvoy as Professor X, a Quicksilver. They're all in the room and they see Deadpool and they're like, crap, and Beast like slowly closes the door quietly. As if like they're there, they're just avoiding him, and that's why he never sees them. Brilliant, because obviously in real world Fox is not going to let them use all those A-list characters because they're using them for the X-Men movies. So uh they're just kind of like letting them use like one-offs, like characters and like CD list X-Men besides like Colossus and stuff like that. Although one of the biggest things about this movie, I said CD list, but that's not necessarily true. It's kind of transitioning a little bit. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in Deadpool 3, because the biggest thing about this movie, the biggest spoiler thing or surprise I personally had for this movie, and I'm sure you guys, or a lot of you guys, most of you guys had no idea either, is freaking Juggernaut is in this movie. Like, I had no idea. It was brilliant. The fact that I didn't know and no one really knew and it didn't get spoiled even after the world premiere is insane, especially this day and age. So that is just nuts that Juggernaut was in this movie. And not only that, he was awesome looking. I like that they went the CGI route with him, like you do with Hulk and all those bigger characters, because as we all know in Last Stand, he didn't look the best. They basically put a guy in a muscle suit and like a foam big helmet that didn't look too great. I mean, at the time, I'm sure lots of us were like, yeah, we'll take whatever we can get. But let's be honest, that wasn't good. And what's crazy about this Juggernaut too is not only did he look awesome and he was huge and his helmet looked cool and everything. A lot of people don't know because it's not credited in the movie. If you look at the end credits, it actually, and it says like, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool and all that stuff. It says like who's playing the characters. When he gets to Juggernaut, it says Juggernaut as Juggernaut or played by Juggernaut. But what's funny is Ryan Reynolds actually voiced Juggernaut as well. So that's pretty crazy. He said it was reported on a few websites and he didn't want to be credited for the movie. So he did he did the face capture for it, because you can kind of see his face at certain points in the movie, like underneath his helmet, and he also did the voice for it. He just didn't do the full body motion cap, but that's pretty crazy in itself. So if you didn't know that, now you know. So Ryan Reynolds played Deadpool and Juggernaut in the movie. So that's pretty cool. But he wasn't in it that much, but he was great. It was pretty funny because when Russell and Deadpool get locked up and they show the big cell and they're like, befriend the big guy, you got to befriend the bigger guy, and Deadpool's like, that's the second biggest guy, and like he looks at the camera, he's like, I wonder if we're foreshadowing for for something later in the movie, and I'm like, it's gotta be Juggernaut. Like, who else could it be? What other mutant or X-Men character is that big that would make sense to be in the movie? I'm like, it's got to be Juggernaut. And then sure enough, later on, freaking Juggernaut. And then his partner in crime, Black Tom from the comics, who they kind of become partners as well, is in the movie. That was pretty cool because they referenced it in the movie because Russell's asking Juggernaut, it's like, why do you wear a helmet? He's like, to keep my brother out. So as we know, his brother is Charles Xavier, Professor X. That's his stepbrother. And then Black Tom, his partner, the reason why they became friends uh, in the comics because they met in jail and stuff. Black Tom's cousin is actually Banshee, which, as we know, is another X-Men member. So they're like, hey, we both have relatives on the X-Men that we don't like, and they became friends. But Black Tom didn't play that big of a part in the movie, but he was in it a little bit, and it was funny. I love the whole bit with him, Deadpool, and Cable. How like how Deadpool kept calling Cable a racist because he killed or got rid of Black Tom. Freaking just everything Deadpool did was freaking so funny, and only Deadpool can get away with making comments like that. It's just brilliant. So Juggernaut was awesome. That was hilarious. And then the part where they pants him at the end, and you see a Juggernaut butt. Oh man, this movie just ridiculously funny. What else? The X Force. That's what I told you guys. If you watch that, that's what I was gonna tell you. My thoughts on that. So I like the X Force. I thought they were cool. We don't, but I mean, I thought they were cool in the sense that you just seen them real quick. Like Domino is cool. She was in the whole movie. But the thing is, it was awesome. But I'm kind of like, is they killed them off like that. Like they didn't even get to their first mission. They literally just all die, which I thought was really, really funny and clever. But at the same time, a little bit of me was like, not so much for like Bedlam and stuff like that. And some of the smaller characters. I mean, they're all pretty much like D-list, I guess, X-Force characters, part of like the newer run once they got into like the early 100 issues of X-Force. But like Shatterstar, like he's a founding member of the X-Force, so that one was crazy to me. And then even at the end when he's that's another part of the post or the end credit scene is he uses the Cable's time traveling device to bring Peter back because he died as well, but only him. Like he doesn't bring anyone else back, like Shatterstar, Bedlam. They all stay dead. But it's just crazy to me that they offed him. I mean, it's funny, again, hilarious. I think it was brilliant, but at the same time, I'm like, really, Shatterstar? He's a founding, especially if they're gonna do it like the next one's gonna be Deadpool X Force. He's a founding member of the X Force, so that one's kind of weird for me. Like, I feel like you could have done a lot cooler stuff with him, but that's neither here nor there. That was like a little gripe for me, just. But at the same time, even though it was a gripe, just because they killed like certain members like that, mainly Shatterstar again because he's a founding member. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really follow Bedlam and like some of the other lesser known X Force characters that much. But again, they're like DC list characters, so I feel like you can get away with that. Shatterstar was the one surprising one to me. It's like kind of like it's almost like the equivalent of killing off like Domino because she's like founding member and a character of the 90s as popular as him. But yeah, that was that was my gripe slash not gripe because I did like that um as well. Let's see what else is in this movie. It's a big thing. Oh, Russell. I said Russell. I didn't really like Russell that much. I've said that already. I know he's also obviously they're all from the comics. But I don't know. I just didn't. I wasn't a fan that much. The kid kind of, being honest, he kind of annoyed me at some points, which is weird because I like him in other movies. So I know I forget the guy's name, but the director of Thor, he was in one of his movies first, and he's hilarious in that movie. So yeah, that's pretty funny. And going back to Juggernaut real quick, just because I glanced my eye, I said I saw someone said King Domson 15 is Juggernaut dead? No, he is not dead. If you look really quick at one of the scenes, you see him crawling out of that pond real quick. Plus, he's a Juggernaut. You really can't. It's literally impossible to kill the Juggernaut. He's literally been reduced down to a skeleton before, and he came back. As long as like Juggernaut's whole thing is like as long as there's like a molecule of him left, he can't die. So as long as there's just like a cell or organism of him left, you can't kill the Juggernaut because he gets his power from a magic stone. He's not a mutant actually. So there's that. So if you guys didn't know that, he's not really a mutant. He gets his power from a magic stone that he found in a mountain way back when with Charles Xavier when they were in the military. So there's there's that. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, again, I really, really like the movie. The X Force was cool. Had a gripe with them kind of killing off like Shatterstar and stuff, but again, it was hilarious. Juggernaut was awesome. The end credit scene with the whole Green Lantern dig and him cleaning up the timelines and the Deadpool dig from the original Wolverine thing was funny. Yeah, that's about Oh yeah, Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was a Vanisher in it briefly. That was freaking awesome. Because that whole bit where Vanisher was in it, and you just see the floating like parachute and stuff, and they like comments like, "Is he here? I guess he's not here." And then like when they all go skydiving or jumping out to go on their first mission to get Russell and them out of the moving transport, you just see like a floating parachute. Hilarious. And then when he dies, you literally get like a second. As soon as he like splats, you see like Brad Pitt briefly. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And there was lots of little things like that in this movie that was just so funny. Oh, I do have to okay, that's it. I'm remembering. I'm trying to make this more condensed because I have other stuff to talk about. But the last thing I want to talk about is freaking his baby legs. Deadpool's baby legs is one of the funniest things I've seen in a very very long time, and I knew they were going to do it too because once because once he brings him back, it was just he's sitting next to Blind Al. It was kind of like a callback to like the little hand moment. I'm like, yes, please show it. And then they pull out, and you see his little baby legs. And that whole like 10-minute section was absolutely hilarious. And I like the fact that the CGI didn't look that good. With the legs, like it wasn't perfect, like you could tell it was a little wonky. But I feel like for the comedy, it added to it. Like it made it funny because it's comedy, it's not supposed to be. So it made it even like more funny in a sense. So yeah, I thought I thought that was great. But that's my thoughts on Deadpool 2. It was a really good movie. And I definitely want to see it again, but I still haven't seen Infinity War a second time yet, so I'm gonna have to do that first. But moving on to more, I guess Marvel news, Marvel movie news. Jake Gyllenhaal might be Mysterio. Apparently, he's in talks to be in Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Homecoming 2, the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. He's apparently in talks to be Mysterio, which is awesome. Mysterio is one of my favorite villains. I love the Sinister Six. He's one of the members of the Sinister Six, one of the founding members of the original Sinister Six, and I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I am sad though that Jake Gyllenhaal came out about a month or so ago that he will not be Batman. Like he can free debunk that rumor and said no, I'm not going to be Batman, which sucks because I'd way rather be Batman. But Mysterio is cool. I'm a big fan of Mysterio and the Sinister Six, and the first Spider-Man Homecoming pretty much set up a lot of members from Sinister Six. You got the Vulture, you got Scorpion, Shocker, and then now we would have Mysterio. That's four. So then you only need two more members now. I don't know if they're going to go OG Sinister Six, or they just might throw random other characters in there. Because then if you're gonna go OG, then all you need is Sandman and Craven, right? So that would be Craven, dude. We've never seen Craven on the big screen. I'd love to see Craven on the big screen. That'd be pretty great. And then Doc Ock. Doc Ock is another one. That could be another. He's a founding member. Yeah, Doc Ock could be cool. Rhino. So I mean, there's been so many iterations of Sinister Six. You could really use any Spider-Man villain, but any of those like kind of A-lister Spider-Man villains is how it would go. Like the OG ones, like the Rhinos, the Cravens, and all that stuff. But yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm pretty much down for him to play anyone. I wanted him to be Batman, but I'll take him as Mysterio and then see him in the Sinister Six movie with Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'm all about that all day long. So I don't know have much more to say about that besides, yeah, I'm down. Moving along, we also have Thundercats. There's a new Thundercats cartoon coming out. It's actually kind of been making waves on the internet. Shocker. Half the internet's kind of split with it. Half the internet's like, yeah, this looks cool. The other half is like, this isn't my original Thundercats. This looks like too kiddie and bubblegummy and comedy and no. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't watch Thundercats growing up. I'm like late 80s. I was born in 87, so it's a little bit before my time. Like I was way too young to watch like even that and Transformers. I love Transformers. Now, okay, with that said, I did go back. I did watch Transformers because I went back and watched it in syndication. But I didn't watch like G.I. Joe. I didn't watch He-Man, and I didn't watch like Thundercats. So I'm not like a diehard Thundercat fan where I'm stuck on like it has to be like that. But at the same time, I kind of understand where some people are coming from. But on the other end, I'm like, yeah, but you have that. You're always going to have that iteration of Thundercats. No one can take that away from you. This new generation, this is going to be their version now. Given like it's kind of like Teen Titans Go, where we would have rather just like the original Teen Titans cartoon that we had in like the late 90s, early 2000s. That I love that show. But like this animation style for the new generation is very much like this Teen Titans Go, this comedy, bubblegum, this new Thundercat stuff. Thundercats Roar, I guess is what it's called. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably not gonna watch a show. Again, I'm not even a huge Thundercats fan. So yeah, but I say as far as my stance on it is like again, I mean, I can kind of understand why the original fans are getting messed up because I know when they do that to properties I love, I get a little annoyed. But at the same time, it's like you're always gonna have that iteration of it. You're always gonna have that iteration of Thundercats. So I mean, if the new generation, this is what they like, and it's gonna do well, fine. I mean, if it's gonna because if this show does well, it's only gonna like bring money to the property as a whole, and then you might even get like newer anniversary editions of the old stuff or exclusive Blu-ray stuff. They'll bring back the old stuff and new toys and stuff like that. So it's probably gonna help the brand out all the way around. You're just unfortunately not gonna have a new cartoon the way you want it. But so I say just like let it live. You have the original ones you like. No one's gonna take that away from you ever. So that's my stance on that. Brief to the point, because again, I'm not a diehard Thundercats fan. What I am a diehard fan of is comics, and DC Comics is half of that. So Supergirl, she is getting a redesign. Yes, she is getting a brand new costume, which I'm going to show you guys real quick. Let me set it up on my screen, do a screen share. I'm not a fan of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't I don't like it. But here, let's show it to you guys real quick. And boom, now it's on the screen. So that's her new costume. I'm not a fan. I'm sure it's not gonna stick, which is why I'm not like, oh my god, I can't believe they're changing her costume. Why are they changing her costume? There's no way they could be changing her costume. I know this is only gonna last for a short period of time, like everything that they change drastically in comics. With that said, I'm not a fan of it. It's just a big departure, but whatever. They'll go back to the normal, more classic Supergirl costume in time. The hood, it reminds me very much of like the whole Black Adam Shazam thing they've been doing as of late, the last few years. But the color scheme and the pattern, I'm just not big on. Kind of looks a little like Assassin's Creed esque to me. The hood, Robin Hood, I don't know, just not that big on it. Not really much to say, but again, I'm gonna stop screen sharing that. But yeah, that's the costume. Um, Not that big of a deal though. I think it's always funny though when stuff like this happens because again, me, I'm like, it's only a matter of time before they go back to the classic look. But you see like a lot of comic fans like, oh my god, I can't believe you're ruining Supergirl. What are you doing? I'm like, guys, do you really think it's gonna be like that forever? Like a year, maybe two tops, but probably not even 2 years, maybe more like 6 months to a year, and then it'll revert back. Like this stuff happens all the time. Like Superman's like rebirth costume where he didn't have the red boots and yellow belt anymore. How long did that last? Like a year and a half. And now look, we got the classic Superman costume again. Batman's currently still in his rebirth costume with like the yellow over the black bat symbol and the purple on the inside of his cape. It's only a matter of time before they either go back to the classic black and gray or dark navy blue and gray. It's only a matter of time, or even the normal oval. So it's just if they just change Superman's, I imagine it's only a matter of time before Batman follow suit. Maybe even after Batman's wedding with Selena Kyle. I'm going to call that. Yes, that is my guess. Right after this whole Selena Kyle Bat wedding thing, that is when he's going to revert back to his costume because I feel like that's a big enough event to kind of change things um, back a bit to kind of revert back to the classic looks, like a reset. It's like, oh, I'm married, let me go back to old ways a little bit or whatnot. Even though you're supposed to go on to new ways, it's not going to get into that. We also have, staying in the DC universe a bit to switch pace yet again, or switch topics yet again. We have Super Sons. Super Sons returning. I remember a while ago on Variant Live, I said that Super Sons was being canceled. Guess what? It's coming back in August. So for all you Super Sons fans out there, you're not fret because it's coming back, which makes sense. It's like any of those things where it's like if it's doing really well and the fans want it enough, it's like how are they not gonna bring it back? Because like at the end of the day, it's a business and it's they're gonna make money that way. So I will say though, it's not like an ongoing series. It's gonna be a they call the Adventures of the Super Sons, and it's gonna be a 12 issue maxi series, which is gonna start this August. I believe it's from the original creative team. Let me read this real quick. Let's see. There are plans afoot, and I can't share at this early juncture, but you will be happy with the results. Super Sons lives. That's a quote from Peter Tomasi himself, the writer. So there we go, guys. We're gonna get at least 12 more issues in August, which is a year, I believe, because I believe it's gonna be once every month. I don't think they're gonna do two every month like they've been doing with a lot of the other series. So we got another year Super Sun. So for everyone who's a fan of that, which I know there's a lot of you, sorry, kind of like a weird burp during that, which I know there's a lot of you. We're gonna get it back. So That is yes, yeah, I see praising hands in some of the comments. So yes, that is cool. Let's see. One last thing I guess I could say is I get also in August, which was teased at the end of DC Metal, Aquaman's Atlantis sinks. That's not really I feel like that's not really it should be a headline. It is making headlines today, but for anyone who read the end of DC Metal, they kind of alluded to that. So Aquaman's Atlantis is gonna that's it. Gone gone, destroyed, sinks, whatever you want to call it. It's just going to be all effed up. So there's not really much more to say about that, but I kind of just wanted to mention it because for some reason it's been making headlines today. But again, anyone who's read DC Metal the whole in its entirety knows that that's a thing. With that said, that's the last bit of news I have for today. I'm going to open it up for about 5 or 10 minutes for some Q&A, and then I'm going to get out of here and see you guys this Wednesday for another history of episode. I think someone I saw the corner of my eye another history of episode of the history of Juggernaut. So obviously, with him making his debut, well, not his debut, I guess he made his debut in The Last Stand. Obviously, when making his good debut, because he wasn't good in Last Stand, or just appearing in Deadpool 2, it only made sense to do a history of Juggernaut because I know a lot of you are probably curious about him, and he's actually one of my favorite X-Men related characters because he's unstoppable because he's a Juggernaut. So yeah, that's that. Let's see. Mantis 23, favorite shoe brand. That's a good question. That's a very good question, Mantis. My favorite shoe brand is probably Vans. I love Vans. I wear Vans, Converses, and Nike running shoes, but probably Vans. They're like 40, $50. They're comfortable. Why the heck not? Let's see here. Brandon Bailey. Did you like Cable? Oh yeah, I didn't mention him in I guess that's in there, huh? Yeah, I did like Cable. I liked him a lot. Josh Brolin can do no wrong. He was awesome, intimidating. His metal arm looked awesome. The TO virus looked so cool. That CGI mixed with the practical, like going up his neck and the metal arm, just they did a really, really good job of making him, look all robotic and being infected by the TO virus. So that was really cool. Omnitrix 8, terrible costume. I'm assuming you're referring to the Supergirl costume I just showed. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. But again, it's probably not gonna last long. So whatever. All right, Tyler Donahue, I believe. Favorite Iron Man suit. My favorite Iron Man costume or armor, I guess you would call it, is probably the modular armor. I've been a big fan of that. I guess it's because it was like around in the 90s when, I was watching the Iron Man cartoon and really into that's when I was really big into Iron Man comics. Still like them, but that's when I was really huge into them. I just attached myself to the modular suit because just like that's actually what the first Hulkbuster was made off of because modular suit could have things attached to it and it's modular and like detach. So yeah, that one. I just like the look of it. It's cool and it could do a lot of things. Hence being, the base for the original Hulkbuster um suit or armor rather. William Voke, Teen Titans Go, the movies trailer. I think it's really funny, and I can't wait to see that movie. Yeah, I'm gonna see it and talk about it here on the channel. And yeah, I think the premise of the movie is really, really funny. How like Robin's just trying to like, I guess, get his own movie or feel like he's in Batman's shadow. It's like kind of the obvious way to go with it, and really funny. So I'm all about it. Bugs Bunny. Oh my god, what's up, Doc? Bugs Bunny. Are you still watching Krypton? I am really behind on Krypton. I'm not gonna lie. I think I have like 5 episodes on my DVR. I watched the first 2 episodes, and then that's it. So I'm gonna have to binge it. But I'm also like 4 episodes behind on the Flash. I've just been behind on everything right now. I'm behind on my TV shows, and I'm behind on my comics, and it's bad. I need like a weekend where I just sit and catch up on everything. So I'm gonna have to do that soon. Cali Hotshot asks, "Do you think they'll bring Carnage to the MCU?" No, I think he's too violent of a character for them to do that. I mean, you'd have to dumb him down too much. The MCU is obviously, they're never going to make a rated R MCU movie because it's it's PG-13, so they're trying to make it family friendly. So I don't think so. I think they'll probably do. I mean, especially since Venom's not even in the MCU, they're giving him like a solo movie, which we're assuming is going to be rated R. I think if anything, he'll appear, and if like the first Venom movie does good and it becomes like a trilogy, I think he'll appear in the second or third Venom movie. Then they'll fight because obviously like Carnage is the spawn of Venom, and then Toxin is the spawn of Carnage, and so on and so forth. So I think all those symbiotes are going to live in that Venom Tom Hardy universe if the first one's successful. Unfortunately, because with me saying that, I would really want them to be in the MCU and fight Tom Holland Spider Man. That would be my dream, but I don't think it's going to happen. Let's see what else. Ludus. PS4 or Xbox. I have an Xbox One. Um, I would like a PS4. I'm not opposed to playing a PS4. I just have an Xbox One because it was gifted to me. So that's what I have. I do enjoy it a lot, but I would also like a PS4. So if anyone want to give me one, just contact me. I'll give you my I'll give you my address to send me a PS4 if you'd be so kind. If you just got an extra one laying around. All right, I'm gonna answer two more questions and then I'm gonna get out of here. Let's see. Cabal Dish 839 Gotham finale. Haven't watched it, heard a lot about it. I know it's the whole Joker thing. I know those last few episodes were playing on the Jerome thing. I think I addressed this last week that I fell off on that too. I actually just stopped watching that. Like I just got annoyed with it. I didn't like it anymore. It got a little too cheesy for me, especially with the whole Solomon Grundy thing. I was just like, ugh, this is just like it's not that great. Um, yeah, so there's there's that. But yeah, I might watch it once it's on Netflix or Hulu and just catch up because I know there's been a lot of like, Killing Joke and stuff references to that. So I might just because it's the Joker. I'm curious. I know a lot of people like it. Maybe it got better again because I did like it. I mean it for a while and then I fell off. So maybe I'll give it another try. All right, Arris, are you getting Marvel's Spider-Man on PS4? I don't have a PS4, so I don't know. That probably means I'll just end up playing it on a friend's console, unless like I said again, you guys have an extra PS4 laying around, you want to send it to me, then I'm more than happy to be like on Twitter, thanks guys for sending me a PS4. Yeah, all right. Let's see. Favorite Deadpool suit. The red and black. X Force is a close second, but I'm a traditionalist, so like usually with all that stuff, it's usually like the first suit, like the classic version, just because that's what that's what I identify with the most. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. Hold on. Sorry, I was reading as I was talking. I kind of zoned out for a little bit. Do you like Star Lord? Of course, I love Star Lord. He's awesome, especially Chris Pratt's Star Lord from the movies. Really good. He's cool in the comics as well. Uh, but I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. Real. Oh, hold on, real quick. Vincent, Young Justice, new picture. I actually talked about that last week on Variant Live, so you can go back to last week's Variant Live. In a nutshell, I liked it. Want to see that? It's one of my favorite cartoons ever. So I really, 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 really can't wait for that to hit the DC streaming app. With that said, though, Solo's coming out this Saturday as well. I know a lot of you are probably excited. A lot of you probably aren't excited. I know there's a lot of people who are kind of upset with the Star Wars movie, the state of the Star Wars movies right now. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not that excited for Solo. I don't have high expectations at all. I will be reviewing it this Saturday, though, but I don't have high hopes for it. But that may work in my favor because I'm not expecting anything from it, then that means the bar's not that high. It just has to be like okay, and I'll enjoy it. No, in all seriousness, though, I'm not expecting anything from it, but I hope it does well. Because why would I hope for it to do bad? As you guys see, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Got a lot of Star Wars stuff back there and all over the office. I loved it since I was a kid. My dad introduced it to me on VHS. So I hope it's good. I'm just not a fan of the guy playing Solo and stuff. So fingers crossed with that. Um, Also, I got to wrap up with My Hero Academia. I forgot to talk about that completely, and told you guys I would. In a nutshell, the next two episodes, Izuku Midoriya has figured out how to kind of use his power a lot more, or sorta. Basically, what happens is in the next two episodes, episodes 3 and 4. I'm kind of rambling. I said I was going to wrap this up, but then I forgot. I promised you guys I would talk about My Hero Academia, so I got to do that. Uh, Essentially, what happens in this episode is one of the little kids in the story, I forget his name, it's escaping me because he's only been in 2 episodes at the point of me watching this, is he basically runs away and you have villains trying to attack all the heroes, or all the heroes in training at their summer school or their little summer camp thing. So Midoriya is forced to go all out and use his power to save this kid, and literally goes like All Might. I was gonna say All Might literally uses his whole power to, like, I think he even says like 100%. He uses like his one for all power. Like how every time he calls it out is like one for 100%. I think he even goes over that. I don't remember, but it's crazy. And by the end, he's kind of like all battered and broken, and it's all kinds of goodness and fun. But the season's been really, really great so far. Uh, and it's basically kind of just exploring that, as far as this whole season thus far has been really good, but hasn't been really in depth yet, as far as it's just been kind of showing like how they're using their powers in a sense. Like the way to get their powers stronger is basically just use it over and over and over. Like they made a reference like your quirk is kind of like a muscle. You have to use it over and over and rip it and break it down and then become stronger. So the problem is with this though is they've been training so hard, and then when Midoriya has to fight to save this kid, he's like the stereotypical like core hero, just like All Might. He's like, no, even though like this arm's already broken from previous fight with him and stuff like that. He's like, no, I got to do it. And he just goes, gives it his all, and he lives and he beats the guy. He beats him up and saves the kid. That's my really really short summary of that episode. Just because I said I was gonna get out of here and then I forgot. So he went 1 million. Did he? Okay, see, he went 1 million%. See, that's even crazier. I knew it was more than 100. I just didn't remember. But yeah, it's just nuts. All kinds of crazy. So for next week, I'm gonna do a better job and give this a better section to talk about it and not rush it. But we're just gonna catch up now. So I believe it's on episode 6 or 7, and I'm just gonna catch up current, and that way we could do one a week, and I could analyze the episodes a little better by just talking about one episode, and I have to remember what episode it was in to make things easier for me and for you. But with that said, guys, watch the rest. Just get current with My Hero Academia. If you don't know how to do that or you don't know how to watch it, link is in the description below for Verve VRV. We've partnered with them for a while now. They're a great anime streaming service. They have My Hero Academia. Uh, they have Dragon Ball Super, One Punch Man, all those great animes, bunch more. They have Freakazoid on there now, not even just animes. They're kind of expanding their horizons. They have a whole bunch of cool stuff. So if you want to check that out, link is in the description below. Free 30-day ad-free trial, and then you can chat in with us in the chat room every Monday on Variant Live about My Hero Academia Season 3, and it'll be fun times. But until Wednesday, I want to give you guys a history of Juggernaut. Later, guys.